Okay, next on our agenda is the Finance Committee report. Committee Chair Laura Belknap.
Okay, give me just a minute to pull my papers up. Sorry.
Okay.
I know that sounds odd to pull my papers up, but I printed all. So, thank you, Chair Cummins. Okay, the Finance Committee report from June 5th, 2020. First of all, we need to go to 8.5. I believe it's our first one. Nope. Let me see. Yeah, oh, nope. We did have committee action, but no board action on 8.4. And the only reason I'm bringing that up is because several board members had asked about the statewide online education program, but it'll be coming back to committee tomorrow. 8.5 is the charter school revolving loan. The motion for the board is the committee moves that the board approve revolving loans for Advantage Arts Academy for $63,000, Franklin Discovery Academy for $273,858. I think it's thousands. John Hancock Charter School, $39,000. Monticello, I was going to say Monticello because we always tease that way. Monticello Academy, $300,000, and Wallace Stegner Academy, $299,976.
Okay, the motion before the board is that the board approved revolving loans for Advantage Arts Academy for $63,000, Franklin Discovery Academy for $273,858, John Hancock Charter School for $39,000, Monticello Academy for $300,000, and Wallace Stegner Academy for $299,976. Any discussion to that motion? Board Member Hanson.
Just a question for the committee. I looked at some of the loan applications and saw that Advantage Arts Academy had multiple loans over the past few years. They had gotten a loan and paid it down partway and then up. I just wondered how this loan program works. And are the same school, do they have to compete with other schools, or once they're eligible, are they eligible for multiple loans as long as the balance is under the $3,000 cap?
Chair, may I defer to Scott Jones?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, can you repeat the question, please? I'm sorry.
Sure. I just was wondering about the eligibility rules for the loan. I looked at Advantage Arts Academy's package, and it looked like they had loans, taken out loans several times,
Sure.
which cumulatively would be over the $300,000, but they had paid down the initial loan by some amount. So I just wondered, does the school have to compete with other schools to re-up a loan? And is the only rule that they need to stay under the $300,000? Can they keep doing this for a number of years? Or how does that work?
Yes, sir. As long as they remain solvent and they've paid back, right, the amount of the loan, they can reapply for the loan. Yes. If you like, I can send you all the designated parameters of it, you know, of all the rules and thresholds, if you like.
No, that's fine. I just wondered, do they need to compete again? Are there schools competing for this money? Is it hard for them to get into the loan pool, or how does that work when they re-up for another loan?
So as far as I know, there's no, there hasn't been any situations where a school has not been able to access or compete for loans. I mean, obviously we're subject to the availability of the balances, which is, critical when we talk about issues of writing off the loans if, there's any defaults or things like that, because it's funded by pretty much the payments back, or the payments that are made back into the loan. So I am not aware, since I've been here, of any situation where a school isn't able to come back in and compete. So,
Okay.
I don't think anybody's preventing from doing that, sir. I'll make sure I double check though, but I've never experienced that. So.
Okay. So the availability of funds isn't a problem. They compete. If they qualify, then they're able to access the money.
Right. As long as they qualify. I mean, it's always subject to the amount of schools that are competing and the balances that we have available, right? But for the
Mhm.
most part, I haven't seen where, I mean, there's different criteria, obviously, that they need to meet. But, again, for the most part, they're able to compete. Now, based on balances, we may not be able to give them the maximum amount, but then I would have to look and do that on a school by school basis, and I can get that to you if I want, but if you want. But the
No,
competition is there. I think we're
you
fine.
don't need to do the homework. I think I understand the program a little bit better. Thank you.
Okay, sir.
Board Member Lear.
And this might be a question for Deputy Scott also. What is the percentage? Is there an interest that is applied to these loans?
Yes, ma'am. You should be able to see it in the, Jeff, do you have I believe we put the notes into the backups. So you can see I recall the notes here. Maybe it's further down. It's usually a pretty good competitive, if amount. So ma'am, I can come back to you with the percentages that the loans are at.
The same as the market generally has, so it's very low right now.
Yeah, they
Right?
try to keep it, well, actually, I would say a lot of it's below market. So let me find where it's at, and then I'll
Scott
put it in
Scott
the
Hansen's saying 2%.
2%, right? Yeah,
Scott's saying 2%. So that's
right.
and the second part of that, have schools ever defaulted on these loans?
Yes, yeah, we've had situations where with closure, right? We've had to write off the loan.
Only with closure? Only with school
In my
closure?
experience, yes. I'm not aware of anyone that stayed open that defaulted on the loan. The only time in my experience that we've had to come to finance committee to ask for a write-off is due to closure.
Thank you. That's good, Scott.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, seeing no further questions. The motion before us is to approve the revolving loans for Advantage Arts Academy, $63,000, Franklin Discovery Academy, $273,858, John Hancock Charter School, $39,000, Monticello Academy, $300,000, Wallace Stegner Academy, $299,976. Please vote. Okay, that motion passes unanimously. Okay,
Thank you, Chair. I'm going to go on.
yes, please.
Just a note of interest on 8.6. It's the final payment of the AISU. There was only committee action, but there's some additional updates on there that the USBE and the Utah State Charter School Board leadership have been meeting to have the State Charter School Board tell us how they want to pay back the $81,383.03. The one thing that we do know is that after meeting with the state finance, writing off the remaining balance is not an option. So if you, just to make note of that, that's in the backups. Okay, then let me see. I think that is all the actionable items. Let me just make sure, Chair. And then someone will yell at me that I made an error. That will conclude the finance report of June 5th, 2020.
Thank you. Board Member Marsh, did you have a question? Nope. Okay. Okay, we have our lunch scheduled next on the agenda. We can probably take care of one more item prior to a lunch break, seeing as how we're about a half an hour ahead of time. Lorraine, would there be a problem in moving forward with something?
I would just suggest going ahead with the lawn licensing committee report.
Okay, thank you.